Chapter 11. Find out the real culprit behind the scenes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What the hell? As for that, why are you still crying? Yi Junlin was stunned, patted Hong Qianya on the shoulder, and said sympathetically, "It's okay, if it's delicious, eat more, it's really pitiful. How long has it been since you've had meat?" Hong Qianya had mixed feelings in her heart. He was born very humble. When he was a child, he was always hungry and dreamed of eating a piece of meat. Later, he accidentally stepped into the path of cultivating immortals. From then on, he struggled hard and plundered cultivation resources by any means. In the end, live your life as a ruthless demonic giant. At this time, after Hong Qianya ate this delicacy in the world, this childhood memory came to mind. Combined with the ups and downs of cultivating immortality in this life, the emotions deep in her heart suddenly burst out, yes. If the cultivation of immortality is like this, like a clay sculpture that does not eat the fireworks of the world, and has abandoned even the simplest desires of food and drink, then what is the power of cultivating immortality? Hong Qianya's state of mind has undergone a huge change. The idea suddenly becomes clear. Boom! Hong Qianya's cultivation level began to soar, from the early stage of nascent soul, to the middle stage, to the late stage, to its peak, and to perfection, then, keep breaking through. In an instant, the terrifying momentum spread unbridled, a thought turns into a god. Fortunately, Piaomiao Peak raised a shielding formation in time, so it did not cause panic in Shantian's sect. Fuck, that's okay too. Yi Junlin was stunned, but thinking that this person was in the true immortal realm before, but now he is just practicing again to make up for his previous flaws, so it is understandable that his cultivation has improved so quickly. At this moment, Hong Qianya's state is still at the early stage of becoming a god. There was a flash of surprise in his eyes, but he soon regained his composure. Despite the ups and downs in his life, he would not be complacent because of this achievement. We are still far away from the goal in our hearts. Yi Junlin said happily, "Xiaohong, congratulations on your breakthrough to become a god. I'm really happy for you, my master. Your cultivation is almost catching up with my master." Hong Qianya's pair of pink and phoenix eyes narrowed slightly, and a cold light flashed under her eyes. Now that he has cultivated to the level of god transformation, and with the 3000 flame sutra he has cultivated, his explosive combat power is absolutely terrifying. Hong Qianya is confident that even if she cannot be invincible, she may still be close to him. Is he going to fall out? Just as Hong Qianya was thinking, a voice interrupted his thoughts. "Why are you standing there? Eat." Yi Junlin picked up a mutton skewer and handed it over, urging. Hong Qianya took it hesitantly, lowered his head and ate silently, this idea growing like weeds in his heart. After eating, Yi Junlin took out a toothpick and put it in his mouth. "Xiaohong, come and squeeze my teacher's shoulders." Hong Qianya sneered and said nothing. Instead, she walked around behind Yi Junlin, slowly stretched out her white hands, put them on her shoulders and kneaded them. "Aren't you full? Be stronger, yes, yes, yes. Hey, it's comfortable." Yi Junlin's face was full of contentment, enjoying everything calmly. Hong Qianya's eyes changed one after another, and her hands extended silently, as if to strangle the silver-haired young man's neck. With his temperament, he never liked to be dependent on others. The reason why he agreed to become Yi Junlin's apprentice was just because of the situation. The most important thing was that he wanted to explore Yi Junlin's secrets. But during this period, apart from the other party's strange behavior and habits, there was nothing worth digging into. Therefore, Hong Qianya, who didn't want to be manipulated anymore, thought of simply subduing Yi Junlin and asking him where he got the skills and elixirs. In this way, you can not only get the answer, but also get rid of your identity as a disciple. Of course, after that, Hong Qianya will not kill Yi Junlin. Although he is a demonic monk who kills people like crazy, Yi Junlin has a life-saving grace for him. The best he can do is cast a spell to make him forget everything that happened before, and then decisively leave Shantian's sect and start a new journey. Yi Junlin was enjoying himself comfortably, as if he was not aware of the approaching danger. "My surname is Yi. I am not something that a mere god like you can control. This ridiculous master-disciple relationship comes to an end today. Hong Chenya's pretty face was covered with frost, and he was so resolute that he was about to start ruthlessly. At this moment, a sound-transmitting flying sword flew across the sky, dragging a bright stream of light into the Pyamyao peak. Junior Brother Yi, please come to the meeting hall as soon as possible. There is a new situation to deal with. On the sound transmission flying sword, the sect leader Su Yonyan's serious voice sounded. Okay. Yi Junlin opened his eyes, stretched his waist and stretched his muscles. It seems that I have to go there. The action was interrupted, and Hong Chenya hesitated. He can also fall out now, but there is always a voice in his heart, reminding him not to do this. The consequences will be very serious. Hong Chenya, who has become an immortal, is more alert than most monks, because sometimes one decision can change one's own destiny. Now, facing an opponent who seems to be full of flaws, a strong warning sign arises in Hong Chenya's heart. Does this guy have any trump cards? Hong Chenya hesitated. Xiao Hong, as a teacher, I will go over first. Your technique is very comfortable. When you come back, help me beat my legs. Yi Junlin put down these words, flew into the air and disappeared into the sky. Hong Chenya was so angry that her nose was crooked. Are you really treating me as a servant? He regrets it. You should have been decisive just now. Just strangle this shameless thing to death. Midair, Yi Junlin's silver hair was flying, and a playful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Yi Junlin naturally knew about Hong Chenya's little moves, and they were all under his control. To know, his great void technique has been practiced to perfection by automatically hanging up. If danger does occur, Yi Junlin can guarantee that even at such a close distance, he can escape instantly and then suppress it with his absolute strength. This is also why he acted so calmly throughout the entire process. Council Hall, sect leader Su Yonyan and other peak leaders were discussing. Seeing the silver-haired young man flying in from outside the hall, Su Yonyan said cheerfully, Junior Brother Yi, you are here. His realm has reached the nascent soul stage, his aura has become thicker and thicker, and there is a faint flash of terrifying lightning in his eyes. Su Yonyan was very grateful to Yi Junlin. He not only changed the fate of Shentian's sect, but also gave him a rare thunder attribute heaven-level skill, which made him more accomplished in thunder attribute skills. Junior Brother Yi. The Master of Hidden Sword Peak and others were smiling. Their cultivation has improved greatly, and they are only one step away from the nascent soul, and because they have better skills to practice, their strength is far better than before, so they have great respect for Yi Junlin. Everyone, did the sect encounter any difficulties? Yi Junlin asked. Su Yonyan said in a deep voice, a few years ago, the Wei state, which was protected by our Shentian sect, sent a message asking for help to the sect, claiming that strange things were happening all over the country, and people were dying one after another in various places. The deaths were extremely weird, and the bodies where all the blood has been sucked dry, and it is initially judged that there is a monster at work. Later, I sent a group of disciples to go find out the situation, but there was no news from all of them and they have not returned yet. This phenomenon has also intensified in Wei State, and there have even been horrific phenomena where many cities with a population of 1 million have been reduced to death. This is not over yet. According to rumors, this situation has also begun to occur in the countries around Wei State. It has begun to spread in the barren states, and the victims all died in the same way. I think if this continues, Huangzhou may be in chaos, and the number of disciples recruited by Shentian's sect in the future will inevitably drop off a cliff. This is a result that no one wants to see. Heard, Yi Junlin frowned, so evil. Didn't anyone see who did it? Su Yonyan shook his head. Perhaps everyone he saw is dead, leaving only corpses on the ground that have been drained of blood. For a cultivation sect, if it cannot recruit suitable disciples every year, it will gradually show a situation of inactivity and gradually die out over a long period of time. Therefore, all sects attach great importance to the mortal kingdom, because almost all of their disciples are recruited from here. If you are lucky, you can also pick out good seedlings. If left unchecked, a vicious cycle will form. The sect leader Su Yonyan understands this truth best. Because he came from an ordinary mountain village 200 years ago. At that time, He happened to be selected by the elders of Shentian sect, and then he started this journey of cultivating immortality. Yi Junlin muttered, according to what you just said, the phenomenon started in Wei State a few years ago, and it is the most serious now. So the root cause must be here, and we should start solving it from here. According to memory, the Wei State was also called the Wei Dynasty, with a population of 8,000 million. There were at least hundreds of countries like it in the barren state. If this kind of weird phenomenon is allowed to spread all over the deserted state, this land will definitely be devastated and completely reduced to a place of extinction. At this time, the cute little system prompt sounded, ding, trigger a new mission and go to Wei State to solve the root cause of the crisis. After completing the mission, you will receive unimaginable rewards. Chapter 12 Guessing the Game of Life and Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tongzi, you are really discerning. Ding, it's okay. Yi Junlin shrugged. Anyway, he was almost getting moldy after staying in the mountains during this period of time. It was just a good time to go outside and have fun, and take the cheap apprentice with him. Well, I also think the root cause is in the state of Wei. Su Yonyan nodded. Sect Master, let's do this. I'll go there myself and resolve this matter. Yi Junlin said, swish. All eyes in the hall were focused on Yi Junlin. Su Yonyan stroked his beard and said with a smile, Junior brother Yi is more direct. If you go, I believe this matter can be resolved quickly. Okay, see you later. Yi Junlin left the hall, looking at the retreating figure. The master of Hidden Sword Peak said with some worry, well, can junior brother Yi really handle it? With your elm-headed head, what else can you do to defeat a god in this small desert state? The master of Jianxiang Peak rolled his eyes. In Huangzhou, becoming a god means invincibility. If you can't even handle him, then this barren state is really hopeless. Su Yonyan's smile gradually faded and he said seriously, everyone, hurry up and practice, don't think too much about other things, don't let down junior brother Ye's expectations of us. Yes, the crowd responded. In the Eastern Territory, Huangzhou is very small, and its location is very remote. It is called a remote place by monks from other states, but this is the saying in the world of cultivation, in the eyes of ordinary people, the wilderness is boundless. From one country to another, even if the journey is tiring and non-stop, it will take 2 or 3 months at the fastest. If it is further away, it will not even be reached in this life. A cloudy sky, the two figures were like streams of light, passing one after another. Yi Junlin hummed a tune and admired the great rivers and mountains in the distance. Hong Qianya stared at the back, thinking of all the things she had done at Piaomiao Peak before, feeling increasingly aggrieved. Forget it, there are plenty of opportunities on the road. When you fall into my hands, I will make you look good. There was a faint smile on Yi Junlin's lips. He could clearly feel that the guy behind him had a lot of resentment. Haha, he seems very unconvinced. In this case, labor and management will slowly train you. Soon, they came to the sky above the Wei dynasty. Looking around, cities of various sizes are scattered in a well-proportioned manner. The common people are like ants, they look very small. From the moment they are born, their fate has almost been decided. Some people are rich and well-dressed, enjoying glory and wealth. Some people are poor and eat chaffy vegetables, and some people work hard and eventually become terminally ill. In this world, only cultivating immortals can change your destiny against the will of heaven. There seems to be something going on down there. Yi Junlin narrowed his eyes. Hong Qianya looked over and said in a normal tone, oh, it looks like a group of horse bandits are looting a village. He had long been accustomed to this kind of thing. Really? Go down and have a look. As he said that, Yi Junlin's expression changed and he flew towards the village. Boring. Hong Qianya curled her lips and had no choice but to follow. At this time, Peach Blossom Village, the flames soared into the sky, and the smoke filled the air. Like animals, many villagers were driven to the open space in the center of the village by horse bandits, and those who were disobedient and tried to escape were all killed by the vicious horse bandits with their swords. Sobbing, crying, and begging for mercy rang out in this originally peaceful village. Dear heroes, our village is a famously poor place. We only have chickens, ducks, cattle and sheep that we raise on weekdays. If you want to take them, just take them all. Don't hurt the innocent people in the village. The head of Taohua village, with his head full of white hair, stepped forward and begged for mercy while leaning on a cane. Screw you, one of the horse bandits impatiently kicked him away. The village chief screamed and fell to the ground, vomiting blood as he lay on the ground. There were about 100 people in this group of horse bandits. They had fierce faces and carried sharp long knives. They drove hundreds of villagers into a group. The villagers were terrified, and men, women and children were full of fear. Captain, everyone is here. A younger brother said respectfully. The leader of Black Wind Village rode a tall horse and walked out of the team calmly. What is surprising is that the leader of the horse bandits is not a rough guy, but has a bit of a scholar's temperament. At first glance, he thought he was a teacher in a private school. The leader of Black Wind Village glanced condescendingly, his expression calm as usual. Among them, he saw a young man and woman in the crowd, wearing eye-catching red clothes. They were obviously a couple who were about to enter the bridal chamber. A sneer flashed across the corner of the Black Wind Village leader's lips. He pointed at the two men and commanded in a tone of voice, "Drag them out." "Yes, village master." Several younger brothers immediately stepped forward. "No. Let go of me. Let go of me." The newlyweds were pushed to the ground. Their eyes were full of fear and worry about their fate. The leader of Black Wind Village got off his horse, walked up to the bride, held her chin, looked directly at this young and pretty face, and said with a half-smile, "She is quite pretty." Forgive me." The woman said in fear. "Let go of my wife. Don't touch her." The man's eyes were about to burst when he thought of something. The villagers knew this very well and lowered their heads and couldn't bear to look directly. "How can you think?" the leader of Black Wind Village asked. "Do you love your man?" The woman was stunned, not expecting that the leader of the horse bandits would suddenly ask this question. The woman nodded slightly. "Love." The leader of Black Wind Village turned to look at the man. "Then do you love her?" The man had a loyal and honest face. When asked by the leader of Black Wind Village, he shouted emotionally, "Of course I love her. She and I have been childhood sweethearts since childhood. When we grew up, I finally got my wish and married her. I vowed that I would be kind to her for the rest of your life." Brother Taiju. Xiaomei choked with tears in her eyes. The leader of Haifeng village was silent for a moment, then raised his hand and pointed at another villager. The men understood, and immediately pulled the villager out, and cut off his neck with a knife in front of countless horrified eyes. Puff. The ground was stained red with blood, the skull was rolling on the ground, and the face was full of despair. "What?" the crowd screamed. That head's eyes were wide open, and it refused to close its eyes. The leader of Black Wind Village smiled playfully, raised his foot and kicked lightly, and his head rolled in front of the man and woman who loved each other. Xiaomei was so frightened that she didn't dare to look at the dead head. Taiju's face turned pale and his heart was pounding with fear. "You two, I suddenly have an interesting idea." The leader of Black Wind Village chuckled and said, "You two guess the game and decide the outcome in one round. Whoever loses will die. But, I allow you to have half a stick of incense to discuss in private." Heard, Taiju and Xiaomei looked at each other and didn't understand why they did this. The smile of the leader of Black Wind Village gradually turned cold, and his tone suddenly became harsh. "What? You don't want to play? Then let's all die." No, let's play," Taiju hurriedly said. "It is better to die alone than to catch up with two people." "Well, let's get started." The leader of Black Wind Village waved his hand. Taiju immediately pulled Xiaomei and squatted at the foot of the wall, and said seriously to her, "Xiaomei, I will use my fist later. If you use the cloth, you will survive." Xiaomei's eyes were red and she sobbed, "Brother Taiju, don't do this, I don't want you to die." Taiju showed an honest smile and touched the woman's head. "I said that I will be good to you all my life. Brother Taiju, we will still be husband and wife in the next life." Xiaomei cried heartbrokenly. The two cuddled up against each other, enjoying a brief moment of tranquility. Half a stick of incense passed. A cold voice came, "The time is up, bring them here." "Yes, Taizhu and Xiaomei were brought to the leader of Black Wind Village by several men. The leader of Black Wind Village said calmly, "When you are ready, let's start." And many more. Taizhu stared at the middle-aged man closely and mustered up his courage. "Are you sure the winner will live? How dare you question our village leader?" A younger brother yelled angrily. The leader of Black Wind Village smiled and said, "Of course, I don't bother to lie to you." "That's good." Taizhu breathed out a heavy breath. He said seriously to Xiaomei in front of him, "Come on." In full view, the two played rock-paper-scissors. When the results came out, Taizhu froze on the spot. A flash of astonishment flashed across Xiaomei's pretty face, and then she was so frightened that she cried loudly, "I was wrong, don't kill me, don't kill me." "Ha ha ha ha." The leader of Black Wind Village raised his head and laughed so hard that tears came out of his eyes. His laughter was full of endless ridicule. According to the previous agreement, what came out of the iron pillar was indeed stone, but what Xiaomei came out with was scissors. Chapter 13. Is it him? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why are you doing this? Do you think I will lie to you? Taizhu muttered to himself, and his three views collapsed. All his sincerity was fed to the dogs. "Woo, I was wrong, I don't dare anymore." Xiaomei fell to her knees crying and begging, "Brother Taizhu, save me. I really don't want to die." The leader of Black Wind Village shook his head and said in a sigh, "Back then, I also had a childhood sweetheart. She and I promised to get married, have children, and grow old together. At that time, I secretly swore that I would obtain a meritorious service and be able to carry a large sedan chair by then. The matchmaker is getting married. It's a pity that I don't have a gold medal, so I can only be a poor scholar, teaching in a private school to earn some money. Until that time when I was rejected, my wedding date with her was also postponed. I foolishly thought that she was not ready, so I still treated her with care and kindness. Until a kind-hearted young man secretly told me that bitch had actually been following her. The young master of Su Mansion is flirting with each other. I just realized that she had changed her mind a long time ago." Having said this, the middle-aged man with a clear face seemed to recall that unsightly scene. His eyes were covered with scarlet bloodshot eyes, and his tone contained utter hatred. "I ran to question her, but I found this couple having an affair in the house." The leader of Haifeng Village remembered that after the adulterous couple was discovered, the young master of the Su family was so furious that he ordered his men to hold him down and forcefully continue to perform ridiculous things in front of his eyes. He will never forget the scene of his beloved woman having fun at the knees of another man, screaming wildly, "See, this is the woman you swore to give her a lifetime of happiness." The leader of Black Wind Village stretched out his finger and poked Taizhu's forehead, gloating. Taizhu was in a state of despair, like a walking zombie. As for Xiaomei, while she was crying, her head was cut off by the butcher knife dropped by the horse bandit, and her blood was splashed all over her body. The villagers were as silent as a cicada, not daring to make the slightest move. In the distance, two tall figures stood on the top of the mountain. Seeing the whole process, Hong Chiba crossed her arms and said with a playful smile, "Interesting, I like this scene." Yi Junlin frowned, always feeling that the leader of the Black Wind Village was not just as simple as he appeared. There must be something weird in it. At this time, the leader of Haifeng Village put aside his thoughts of playing around. "It's time for business." He put his fingers together and pointed at Taizhu. Taizhu's eyes lost focus and he fell to the ground and fell into coma. "According to the agreement, I won't kill you, but others, The leader of Black Wind Village was filled with aura. His eyes glowed with blood-red light, and he looked at the large group of villagers kneeling on the ground with a cruel smile on his lips. "Get out of the way, the leader of the village is about to use his magic skills." The surrounding horse bandits retreated with awe on their faces. They knew that the village leader was about to start eating. Dense lines of blood burst out from the chest, piercing the villagers as if they were spiritual. Then, there were men, women, and children one after another. Their whole bodies shriveled up at a speed visible to the naked eye, and a large amount of essence and blood poured into the chest of the leader of Black Wind Village. "Yes, that's it. As long as I completely absorb it, I will be sure to break through from Qi training to foundation building." The leader of Black Wind Village felt the changes in his body and said excitedly. Help! Don't kill me. Mom, I'm afraid. Who will save us? Monster. It's a monster, screams, howls, one after another. There is indeed a problem. Yi Junlin's eyes burst into light. According to the strange phenomena that have occurred in Wei State in recent years, this is a disaster deliberately caused by someone. Of course, the leader of the Black Wind Village, with his strength, is definitely not the mastermind behind the scenes, and he should also be the kind who was bewitched. Huh. This evil skill. Hong Qinya's heart was shaken. The evil method used by the other party was very similar to the old friend he knew in his memory. But, as early as 200 years ago, he had already died under the siege of the major holy places in the central region. Hong Qinya frowned and her eyes kept changing. I still remember that person's methods were very evil, and he was as famous as him back then. Yi Junlin caught a glimpse of Hong Qinya's strange expression, raised his eyebrows and said, Do you know this technique? Hong Qinya shook her head and denied directly, I don't know. Ha ha. Yi Junlin smiled and did not continue to ask. Swish, his figure disappeared in place. Next moment, Yi Junlin appeared next to the leader of Black Wind Village, raised his hand and patted his shoulder gently, sighing. Little brother, there is always a wrongdoer and a debtor, but it is your fault to come here and kill innocent people indiscriminately. The leader of the Black Wind Village was enjoying his sucking, when suddenly there was a person next to him, which frightened him so much that he said angrily, Who are you trying to get on the horse with? Boom. Yi Junlin's palm emitted powerful force. Click click, the leader of Black Wind Village fell to his knees, his bones almost shattered, and he let out a miserable cry, Ah. After being interrupted from casting the spell, the remaining villagers survived and watched everything in shock. Fortress, owner of the village. The surrounding horse bandits were stunned. This silver-haired young man who suddenly appeared was like a god descending to earth, suppressing the leader of the village who was usually invincible in their eyes. Tell me, where did you get the evil skills you practice? Yi Junlin said. Chen Shui had a bitter look on his face. He knew that he was unlucky to meet a powerful practitioner this time. Forced by the situation, he had no choice but to tell his story. It turned out that after Chen Shui broke up the adulterous couple, the young master of the Su family used his family connections to make it impossible for him to live in the local area. He was forced to leave his hometown and was later recruited by a group of strange people. Teach this terrible skill, but the requirement is that you must do whatever it takes to improve your cultivation. Chen Shui's temperament changed drastically and he began to kill innocent people crazily. Later, he returned to his hometown and killed the couple. After the incident was revealed, Chen Shui was pursued by several loose cultivators from the Wei Kingdom, and he fled in embarrassment and became a bandit. It seems that there is a huge organization behind this. Selfless teaching of skills to others. The requirements are very simple, that is, let the recipients continuously consume blood and essence to improve their cultivation. Xiaohong, what do you think about this? Looking at the red-robed figure slowly descending from the sky, Yi Junlin said with a meaningful tone. Everyone looked at Hong Qinya with astonishment in their eyes. What a beautiful girl. Just like a fairy. Hong Qinya's face was calm, but her heart was filled with turmoil. This snowball-like way of spreading the law really resembles that person's style. Is he really still alive? Master, I don't know. Hearing this answer, Yi Junlin shook his head. He raised his hand and placed it on Chen Shui's head. Start a rough soul search. Aha. Chen Shui looked painful, his eyes rolled white, and he felt like his brain was being sucked out. Vaguely, Yi Junlin saw a scene. Several strange men in black robes were standing. The leader of them reached out and taught Chen Shui the skills. Then the scene stopped and completely fell into darkness. Bang, Chen Shui fell to the ground, breathless. Let's go. Yi Junlin said, snapped. Hong Qinya snapped her fingers. In an instant, all the horse bandits were on fire, and the raging fire burned quickly. They screamed miserably, and their eyes were filled with intense fear. Soon, everything was burned to ashes. Such a magical method. The villagers present were stunned. You. Yi Junlin frowned. Master, did my disciple do something wrong? Don't these bandits deserve to die? Hong Qinya asked with a puzzled look on his face. Yi Junlin coughed a few times and said, well done. A trace of pride flashed in Hong Qinya's eyes. It's been a long time since he went on a killing spree, and he just wanted to take advantage of it. At this time, someone took the lead and shouted, Fairy eliminates violence, brings peace and justice, and does justice for heaven. We in Taohua village are grateful to fairies from generation to generation. Thank you Fairy. The villagers worshipped him one after another. Fairy. Hear this title. Hong Qinya's pretty face was so angry that she raised her hand to burn these stupid people to death. Suddenly, his wrist was grabbed by a big hand. Yi Junlin smiled and said, my good disciples, should they die too? That I don't know why, but this smile makes people feel cheap. Hong Qinya was very angry inside, but he knew he had to endure it now. After a while, Hong Chiba forced out a stiff smile. Master, you misunderstood. I actually wanted to wave goodbye to them. Chapter 14. Continue to train the leader of the demon cult. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's good. Yi Junlin looked pleased. Then, the two of them left in cheers. Hong Qinya's face was not angry, and she had already greeted Yi Junlin's 18 generations of ancestors in her heart. In the hall, Emperor Wei, who was dressed in a dragon robe, sat on the dragon chair and looked at the memorial presented by the minister. His old face was solemn and his brows were furrowed into a deep Sichuan. All civil and military officials lowered their heads, and the atmosphere was very depressing. Hey! After a long time, a helpless sigh came. Emperor Wei threw away the memorial in his hand, rubbed his brows, and said bitterly, if this continues, my great country will soon be destroyed by evil spirits. The death toll in this memorial is shocking. The original population of the Wei dynasty was 8,000 million. In recent years, the population has dropped sharply by more than 3,000 million, and the trend is getting worse. People in the country are panicked and in turmoil. In this regard, the court was helpless and at a loss. Your Majesty, our Wei state relies on the Shantian sect, and I believe the immortal masters there will not ignore it. A minister comforted him. Xuantianzong. Emperor Wei shook his head and smiled bitterly, with a look of disappointment on his face. A few years ago, Shantian sect also sent a team to find out the situation, but that team disappeared not long after arriving in Wei state. Later, he could only watch helplessly as the situation became more and more serious. As for Shantian sect, there has been no progress since that time. Can Wei still rely on such a sect? Father! Father! A shout like a silver bell sounded. Outside the court, a little princess who was about 13 years old ran in. Her skin was delicate and white, and looking at her pretty face, she was definitely a beauty. Ling'er, why are you? Emperor Wei was confused. This was his beloved little daughter. If someone else had been so reckless, she would have been dragged down and beheaded. The little princess waved a letter in her hand, with a joyful smile on her face. It's the second brother. The second brother has news. It's the second prince. The ministers looked surprised. The second son of Emperor Wei was selected by the immortal master of Shantian sect in his early years. He has been staying in Shantian sect these years. This is known to everyone in the court. You know, the immortal sect has always valued qualifications when recruiting disciples. Even if you are a prince, general or a descendant of a royal family, it will be useless if your qualifications are not up to standard. Moreover, Shantian sect selects its disciples very strictly and prohibits any activities involving relatives or connections, and so. Not to mention how happy Emperor Wei was when the second prince was selected. He directly granted amnesty to the whole world that year, and the whole world celebrated. However, over the years, the second prince became obsessed with cultivating immortals and gradually lost contact with the kingdom of Wei. Now, a letter was sent suddenly, which surprised all the ministers. Let me see what the letter says. Emperor Wei took the letter from his daughter and quickly opened it and read it. When he saw the contents of the letter, Emperor Wei couldn't help but open his eyes wide. His face became filled with excitement, and he slapped the table and laughed. Ha ha ha, okay. This move made the ministers look at each other in confusion. Your Majesty, what are you doing? Emperor Wei said excitedly, my son said in the letter that Shantian sect attaches great importance to the strange phenomena that occurred in Wei state. It is very likely that the master of Pyamiao Peak will be sent to solve it personally this time. Let us be calm and wait for good news. All civil and military officials looked excited. Although they are ordinary people, they hold high positions and have channels to receive news about the competition between various sects in Huangzhou. According to rumors, Xiantian's sect was able to destroy Fenglei's sect because of the master of Piaomiao Peak, Yi Junlin, that was a great monk in the nascent soul stage. With the terrifying power to move mountains and reclaim seas, he is no different from an immortal in the eyes of the secular world, and now, this peak master Yi is about to come in person to help the Wei state tide over the difficulties. Can they not be excited? Wei Emperor Long Yen was overjoyed. This is the most gratifying news I have heard in the past few years. Ling'er, we in the state of Wei can be saved. Emperor Wei picked up the little princess and kissed her face again and again. That the little princess smiled with crooked eyebrows and a very cute expression. Sudden, a guard ran in a panic. Your Majesty. 2 immortals are coming outside. It must be the immortal master of Xiantian's sect. Dear friends, follow me quickly to greet you, Emperor Wei said in surprise. In the palace, colorful auspicious clouds filled the sky. Amid countless shocked gazes, 2 figures shrouded the auspicious glow and fell on the square. Xiaohong, do you think it's very cool to choose such an appearance for your teacher? Yi Junlin put his hands behind his back and said proudly, he just wants to create a big battle to lure the snake out of its hole. Hong Qianya glanced at Yi Junlin with disdain, and secretly said in her heart, childish, but on the surface, he still handed it over politely. Master is wise, and my disciple thinks so too. Welcome the immortal master. In the palace, Emperor Wei led all the civil and military officials out of the palace in a hurry and knelt down to worship Yi Junlin and Hong Qianya. To them, this is an immortal who can destroy heaven and earth, and is not bound by all the rules of the secular world. Emperor Wei carefully looked at the silver-haired young man, and his inner joy was even greater. According to the description in the letter, the master of Piaomiao Peak has a signature long silver-white hair, which perfectly matches the image and characteristics of the person in front of him. It seems that this is undoubtedly Master Yi. Turning his gaze to Hong Qianya, Emperor Wei's heart was shocked. Even though he has 3,000 beauties in his harem, compared with this woman, they are simply worlds apart. This is the most beautiful thing in the world. Emperor Wei sighed secretly. After all, he was accompanying Yi Junlin. Of course, he didn't dare to think anything wrong. He even felt that looking at her more would be blasphemy against this fairy. Cough cough. Yi Junlin cleared his throat, and his majestic voice was infused with magic power and continued to echo in all directions. I am here to solve the crisis in Wei State. You don't have to worry anymore. On behalf of the people of Wei State, I would like to thank the immortal. Emperor Wei shouted excitedly. In the palace, everyone was kneeling on the ground and placing their hopes on Yi Junlin. Get up. Yi Junlin raised his hand, and an invisible force spread, gently lifting Wei Di and the others from the ground. Exalted immortal, if you have any requests, just ask. Emperor Wei said respectfully. Arrange a place for my master and apprentice to live. This way please. Emperor Wei stretched out his hand and secretly glanced at Hong Qianya who was passing by. It turned out that this fairy was the disciple of the supreme immortal. The little princess hid behind Emperor Wei, looking at Hong Qianya's beautiful face, and secretly said in her heart. This sister is so beautiful. I wish I could be as beautiful as her when I grow up. From the beginning to the end, Hong Qianya's face was cold, and she didn't even bother to look at this group of people. In his eyes, the Wei Emperor, the civil and military officials, and even the people of the entire Wei state were all ants, with no difference at all. He only came because he wanted to find out the true identity of the culprit behind the scenes. Jingtai Palace. The palace is magnificent. Warm in winter and cool in summer, this place was built by Emperor Wei, who spent huge sums of money and spent many years on it. He liked to stay here and enjoy himself on weekdays. Now it is given over to Yi Junlin and Hong Qianya. Step back, I have something to tell you. It is my honor to serve the immortal. Emperor Wei did not dare to stay any longer and respectfully resigned. Creak, the coffin is closed. Yi Junlin sat down on the recliner made of 1,000-year-old nanmu. He reached out and picked up the grapes in the fruit plate and put them into his mouth. eating them with relish. His careless demeanor at this time was completely opposite to his dignified demeanor just now. Hong Qinya couldn't bear to look at him. This was the most unscrupulous god-forming monk he had ever encountered, and what made him most speechless was, other monks would basically sit cross-legged and meditate, focusing on spiritual practice and so on. This guy indulges in eating, drinking, and having fun all day long and has no intention of practicing hard at all. How did someone so tired and lazy practice to become a god? Humph, that's fine. According to this progress, I will soon be able to crush him in terms of cultivation, and I will be more confident when I take action. Hong Qinya said secretly. If Yi Junlin heard what he was thinking, he would laugh unkindly and cry like a goose. Practice hard. Labor and management are directly on the same level. Realm and other things are all dependent on touching porcelain. Kung Fu and magical powers will also be automatically upgraded by hanging up. Tell me, does my hard work work? Moreover, being able to insist on lying flat is not a kind of effort. At this time, Yi Junlin took off his cloud-patterned combat boots, and suddenly there was a wooden basin under his feet. With steaming warm water in the wooden basin, he put his feet in gently and let out a comfortable moan. Just when Hong Qinya was even more contemptuous, a voice slowly came into her ears. Xiaohong, come and wash my master's feet. Hong Qianya's expression froze, and she almost suspected that her ears had misheard. Veins suddenly burst out on her forehead, and anger arose in her heart. What did you say? That I am the leader of the fire-worshipping demon cult, and I actually want to wash the feet of someone like you? Don't go too far. Hong Qianya's eyes were full of coldness, and she stood there motionless, ignoring him. Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. Where is the person? Come here. Why? Face questioning, Yi Junlin sighed. Being a teacher for one day and a father for life, isn't that enough? Be good, son, wash daddy's feet quickly. Chapter 15 Kill Nascent Soul with a snap of a finger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You. Hong Qinya laughed angrily, and dark red flames rose from her palms. The terrifying flames burned the void, forming ripples. If you repeatedly touch my bottom line, do you really think that I have no temper? Yi Junlin looked directly at the angry young man in front of him with a smile on his face. My disciple is interested, and he just happened to heat the water for me. Seeing that the silver-haired young man was shameless and shameless, Hong Qinya couldn't bear it anymore, so he decided to break up his shame now. Listen, However, at this moment, an anxious voice came from outside the door. Two immortals, I have something important to report about the strange phenomenon that happened in Wei State. Identity. Yi Junlin released his consciousness through the door. I am the eldest prince of Wei State. I saw the eldest prince wearing gorgeous brocade clothes, holding his hands respectfully. What's the matter, say? Hearing Yi Junlin's calm voice coming from inside the house, the eldest prince quickly knelt down and said with an uneasy tone. Shangxian, I have never dared to tell my father this secret. I discovered that the evil spirits that create strange phenomena in various places may come from the mountains behind the palace, because that night I accidentally saw several black bats. Monsters sneak into caves, and maids and eunuchs often disappear in the palace. I think it must be related to them. I have heard about the name of the immortal for a long time, and I know that you have the power to reach the sky. Now only you can save the people of Wei State. I also ask the immortal to take action and kill the bat demon in the back mountain. Talking, the eldest prince banged his forehead against the ground, his gesture full of sincerity. Oh, Yi Junlin's consciousness spread wildly, carefully sweeping the mountains behind the palace. However, nothing unusual was found. But, half an hour, the coffin opened, the eldest prince raised his head and saw a young man in black robes walking towards him. His long silver-white hair formed a sharp contrast and hung around his waist, giving off a silvery sheen. I have seen Shangxian. Take me to that cave. Yes, the eldest prince stood up quickly, with an imperceptible coldness in his eyes. When looking at Hong Qinya, the coldness was replaced by a touch of greed. After what happened just now, Hong Qinya's face looked as cold as frost, and the scarlet flame mark between her eyebrows added a bit of eccentricity. Looking at Yi Junlin's back, Hong Qianye sneered secretly, forget it, I will settle the score with you later. On the corridor, the little princess hid behind the pillar, leaning her head. To watch this scene, when she saw what the eldest prince had done, the little princess' pretty face couldn't believe it. How could eldest brother? Only she, the younger sister, knows how bad her elder brother's daily behavior is. The person that my father is most dissatisfied with is him. Now, this eldest brother with a lot of misdeeds actually dares to meet two immortals from Xiantian's sect in private? I have to tell father quickly. The little princess ran away quickly. On the back hill, overgrown with weeds and jagged rocks, the eldest prince led the way. Yi Junlin walked lightly and Hong Qianye frowned, always feeling something was wrong. Arrive. The eldest prince turned around with a strange smile on his face. Where is the cave where the bat demon is staying? Yi Junlin said calmly. Idiot. There is no such thing as a bat demon. This is your graveyard. The eldest prince said with a crazy expression. He took out the jade slip and crushed it directly, swish. A blood-red 5-pointed star formation emerged from the ground, emitting waves of terrifying energy fluctuations. The eldest prince was protected by a ball of light and was teleported out instantly. He stood firm and said proudly, Elders, it's your turn to take action. Crash, distorted fluctuations appeared in the space. 5 figures covered in black robes walked out and flashed in various directions of the 5-pointed star formation, forming a siege around Yi Junlin and Hong Qianye. Inside the formation, under the brim of the hat, there are sinister faces with cruel smiles at the corners of their mouths. Master Yi Feng of Xiantian's sect, you have been in the limelight recently. The leader, the one-eyed elder, said in a hoarse voice. We have long guessed that you will come here in person. We have already set up a dragnet. Even you will die, that the elder on the other side said with a cruel smile. The 5 of them are all nascent soul cultivators, and the strongest is already in the late nascent soul stage. Relying on this special formation, they are guaranteed to kill any opponent below the transformation god level. Yi Junlin shook his head, just call your leader out. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you little minions. Yi Junlin had long been aware of the eldest prince's tricks, but he didn't take it to heart at all. He was even looking forward to what tricks the mastermind behind the scenes would come up with. As a result, only a few yuaning old monsters appeared, which made Yi Junlin feel a little disappointed. Asshole! How dare you underestimate us? The one-eyed elder shouted angrily. The eldest prince folded his arms, as if watching a play, and sneered, several elders, kill that man. As for the woman in red, I'll trouble you to destroy her cultivation. I want to enjoy it. What? Hong Qianye didn't take it seriously at first, but after hearing these words, the anger in her heart surged to the ground, her eyes shot out with a cold light that cracked the sky, and her long black hair danced wildly, as if she was possessed by a ruthless devil. The earth is cracking and the fire is burning. He raised his hand to hold the dark red flames, and shattered the seemingly solid formation with one slap. Puff! The 5 elders vomited blood and retreated as if struck by lightning. Their faces were full of disbelief and horror, and they lost their voices and said, Hua Shen. What are you kidding? How come Xiantian's sect has a transformed god? Hong Qianye ducked in front of the eldest prince. Her cold voice was like the ice of Joyo, chilling people to the bone. Do you dare to say it again? That the eldest prince's figure was as if he had turned to stone. He was stunned at first, and then showed fear on his face. He was so frightened that yellow liquid was seeping into his crotch. Fairy, please spare my life. Hear this title, Hong Qianye sneered, raised her hand and shot out a stream of fire energy, which penetrated into the eldest prince's body. Awe! The eldest prince let out a heartbreaking howl. His skin was as red as a soldering iron and he was rolling on the ground. The feeling was even more uncomfortable than the top 10 tortures in the Wei Kingdom. It's miserable, it's really miserable. Yi Junlin clicked his tongue. Shangxian, at this time, a mighty imperial guard appeared, and Emperor Wei came riding a white horse with the little princess on the horse. The little princess pointed at the eldest prince who was crying and begging for mercy on the ground, and shouted in surprise, Father, eldest brother is there. Emperor Wei looked at the eldest prince and then at the situation in the field, already having a suspicion in his mind. You traitor! You actually joined forces with evil cultivators. It's not good for the supreme immortal of Shantian's sect. Are you going to make me angry to death? I've lost all my face to you. Emperor Wei roared angrily. Yi Junlin said jokingly, your eldest son is really promising. He colluded with the mastermind behind the scenes to harm the country of Wei. He is really filial. What? Emperor Wei couldn't believe it. It turned out that there had been a thief in his house. Gizi, why are you doing this? Answer me. He asked with red eyes. Hong Qianya snapped her fingers, and the eldest prince was no longer in so much pain. Facing his father's question, the eldest prince smiled miserably. Anyway, you old guy, you never thought of passing the throne to me, so why don't I join them? After this is accomplished, I can become the emperor. It's so stupid. In the entire Wei kingdom, so many innocent people have lost their lives because of you. If this continues, the entire country will be an empty shell, and there will be no ordinary people. Even if you are the emperor, what's the use of it? Emperor Wei said sadly. I don't care anyway, I just want to be the emperor. If those untouchables die, they will die. When the time comes, with their help, I can also embark on the road of cultivating immortals and live happily, the eldest prince said with a cruel smile. You are hopeless. Emperor Wei was so angry that he vomited blood, his eyes full of disappointment. Looking at the 5 frightened elders, Yi Junlin said impatiently, you still want to deal with me with your little tricks? Call your leader out quickly. We will not betray our master. The one-eyed elder gritted his teeth. Then go die. Yi Junlin raised his finger and tapped it gently. Bang. An elder's whole body exploded. The soul is dead. Bang. Another elder exploded into blood mist. Bang. This is the 3rd place. Yi Junlin downplayed it, saying whoever he pointed at would die. This scene made everyone's scalps tingle. Oh my God. Who is the one who has been stabbed 1,000 times and said he is Nascent Soul? This is obviously a transformed god. The one-eyed elder lost his voice. Monks in the realm of gods are well known throughout the eastern region and are the targets of major forces recruitment. There are actually people in this barren state who have cultivated to the point of becoming gods. There are 2 statues at once. Why are you standing there? Run away. The other elder was so frightened that he had no intention of resisting and was about to use his secret method to escape. Just as he disappeared in the blink of an eye and appeared 1,000 meters away, the hairs all over his body stood up and a chill ran down his back. Do not. Bang. The whole person exploded into blood mist. You're the only one left. There was a sneer on Yi Junlin's lips, and he pointed his finger towards the last one-eyed elder. The shadow of death shrouded his heart, and beads of sweat broke out on the one-eyed elder's forehead. He had never felt such fear before, and he subconsciously shouted hysterically, Master, save me, boom. At this time, the entire huge mountain was shaking violently, and a bloody light pillar about 10 feet wide rose into the sky, shattering even the vast sky. Sensing this familiar aura, Hong Qianya looked in disbelief. It's really him. Yi Junlin flicked his fingers and said with interest, you are the one waiting for me. Chapter 16 The Perverted Blood Demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The blood-red light pillar stirred up the wind and clouds, spreading in all directions like ripples. Everyone in the capital of Qing Wei was frightened by this terrifying scene, and they knelt on the ground and did not dare to move. Owner, the one-eyed elder burst into tears with excitement. Within the light pillar, a tall and majestic figure slowly walked out. His face was stern, his blood-red hair was fluttering, and his whole body was filled with a sense of oppression like that of a giant beast. His eyes glanced over with disdain, and when they fell on Hong Qianya, the man's eyes burst out with 2 blazing rays of light. His thin lips moved slightly, and he said in a slightly surprised voice, Is it you? Hong Qianya's face changed slightly, but she regained her composure in a blink of an eye, and said calmly, Long time no see, blood demon, I didn't expect you to be still alive. Shi Tianjue's eyes showed a trace of reminiscence, and he said in a self-deprecating tone, "I haven't heard the name Blood Demon for a long time." That's right, this person is the Blood Demon Shutianjue who fell after being besieged by the major holy places in the central region more than 200 years ago. Like Hong Qianye, they both aspired to the realm of true immortals. The Blood Underworld sect he founded was once unparalleled in popularity, even more powerful than the fire-worshipping demon sect. Speaking of Shutianjue's path to immortality, it can be described as crazy. Not only does he rely on madly devouring human blood to strengthen himself, but he also teaches evil skills to his followers, allowing them to kill innocent people and cause a bloody storm everywhere. When the time is right, he will bite back the followers who practice this method and steal their cultivation skills. For results. This snow-like speed spreads across the central region like a virus. Whether they were noble sects or demonic monks, they were all deeply harmed by the Blood Underworld sect at that time. It is precisely because of this that his realm has improved rapidly, but because his methods are extremely evil, he is not tolerated by both good and evil. In the end, all the top forces united in a crusade, and the isolated Blood Underworld sect was eradicated. Shi Tianjue, known as the Blood Demon, fell in the battle, and the Central Territory restored peace for a long time. I just didn't expect that the notorious Blood Demon was not dead yet, and now he appeared in the most remote barren state in the eastern region. If this news reaches the Central Territory, it will definitely cause a huge sensation. How did you escape? At that time, many people witnessed with their own eyes that your body was blown apart by several immortal weapons. Even the blood in your body was evaporated. There was no possibility of survival. Hong Qianye asked seriously. Haha, those self-righteous fools, I have already differentiated a drop of my natal blood in advance, cast a spell and hidden it in a hidden place. After I die, that drop of natal blood can make me reborn. It's a pity that you have to start all over again to cultivate yourself. Even my immortal blood body has to be recast. Shi Tianjue's eyes were gloomy. In order to hide from others, I had no choice but to retreat to the eastern region to practice in secret. As a result, it didn't take long before the major holy places in the eastern region were alerted. I thought over and over again and had no choice but to come to this barbaric land and rely on predators. The blood of low-level monks improves their cultivation. Although the progress is very slow, it is more reliable and safe. I see. Hong Qianba said. He secretly sighed in his heart. He was indeed the Blood Demon with the most evil methods. He faked his own death to hide the truth, and then continued to make trouble. To know, the camp that conquered the Blood Underworld sect back then had not only the righteous path, but also the demonic path. They were simply criticized by thousands of people and gods were indignant. Compared with what he encountered, Shi Tianjue's difficulty was much higher. Hong Qianye felt that if the positions were reversed, even if he tried his best, he would still die. It seems that you will suffer the same fate as me. Shi Tianjue's eyes flashed, and he could tell that Hong Qianye no longer had the cultivation level of a true immortal. Ha ha. Hong Qianye didn't elaborate, but the meaning was self-evident. Master. Save me quickly. This bitch is going to kill me. The eldest prince was happier to see Shi Tianjue than to see his own father, and he cried at the top of his lungs. You wanna die? Hong Qianye's eyes turned cold. As soon as he finished speaking, the eldest prince's body suddenly turned into blood mist, which turned into curling smoke and was sucked into Shi Tianjue's nose. Big brother, that the little princess turned pale with fright. How? Emperor Wei seemed to have aged dozens of years and sighed helplessly. Hey. Isn't he your apprentice? Hong Qianye raised her eyebrows. You're just an ant. What qualifications do you have to be my disciple? Besides, if you want him to die, I will let him die. Don't you still know my friendship for you? Shi Tianjue had his hands behind his back, his extremely eye-catching blood-colored hair fluttering, and his eyes showed some tenderness when looking at Hong Qianye. If this scene were seen by a former rival, his jaw would drop in disbelief. The crazy blood demon can also be emotional. Hong Qianye was helpless. As early as that time in Zhongyu, this person was interested in him. Even if he revealed his true gender and severely refused, the other person still wouldn't give up. It seems that my apprentice is worthy of being a human spanner. I have broken so many straight men over the years. Yi Junlin rubbed his chin and clicked his tongue. In his hand, there was an extra pack of caramel-flavored melon seeds. Yi Junlin ate melon seeds and watched the show silently as a member of the melon-eating crowd. At this time, looking at the tall figure, Hong Qinya shook her head. It's impossible for you and me. So again. Shi Tianjue sighed. In the past 1,000 years, you are the new generation of demon giants that I admire the most, but you don't give me the slightest chance. It was like this before, and it's still like this now. My patience has come to an end. Boom. The surging terrifying momentum pressed down, and Hong Qinya's body seemed to be carrying a huge mountain on its back, and the surrounding ground cracked and shattered. Hong Qinya said coldly, "Blood demon, what do you mean? Now I am in urgent need of recovering my cultivation. Since I have seen my old friend who has become an immortal, I naturally have to pay special attention to it. If you repeatedly refuse my kindness, then I have no choice but to kill you and let all your blood flow into this. In this way, we can be together forever." The corners of Shi Tianjue's mouth curved cruelly, and the expression on his face was a bit crazy. Perverted enough. Yi Junlin complained secretly. However, he could see that this person's cultivation level was similar to his own, and he was also at the peak of becoming a god. Hong Qinya sneered, "What a lunatic. Do you really think you can take me down?" Boom. A powerful momentum burst out from his body. The whole person is like a dark red comet rising in the sky, with two golden divine flames burning in his eyes as red as gems. The whole body is surrounded by countless red flames, burning the endless void. Don't resist needlessly, your moral conduct is not as deep as mine. Shi Tianjue said calmly. Obviously, he also saw that Hong Qinya was in the early stage of divine transformation and was several steps behind his peak divine transformation. Like a cross-level challenge, it is a genius monk versus an ordinary monk, but the problem is that Shi Tianjue is a genius himself, so when he saw that Hong Qinya's cultivation was lagging behind him, he immediately felt that he was sure. Haha, how would you know if you didn't fight? Hong Qinya's brows were full of high-spirited fighting spirit, and she was secretly running the 3,000 Flames Sutra, and her aura became particularly terrifying. After making a secret with one hand, 5-color divine fire emerged from his palm, and then he threw it towards Shi Tianjue, feeling the power that was far beyond imagination. Shi Tianjue's calm face changed and he solemnly said, "This is." He didn't dare to neglect and charged up a palm. The blood-red palm light was wrapped in a huge wave of blood. There were countless ferocious faces in the blood wave, and they made shrill screams. Blood fiend palm. Z la la. When the blood evil palm touched the 5-color divine fire, it was directly burned and annihilated. The remaining flames swept across, making Shi Tianjue look a little embarrassed. It took a lot of effort to put out the fire. Big beads of sweat spilled from his forehead, and he said with lingering fear, "What kind of fire is this? It's so overbearing. It actually broke my bloody palm." Chapter 17 Master, save me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The fun has just begun. Hong Qinya made a hand gesture. Ice blue flames emerged one after another, and then leaped away like an elf. Ice blue flames froze the void, and the air of frost spread crazily. Shi Tianjue frowned, raised his hand to condense the bloody war spear, and stabbed out with the bloody whirlpool. Crash! The entire bloody war spear was frozen by the cold air, and even the blood evil energy showed signs of dying. A biting chill ran down his arms and quickly spread to half of Shi Tianjue's body. What kind of fire is this? So evil. Destroy this seat, Shi Tianjue shouted, directly dispelling the cold air, holding the blood-colored war spear in his right hand to kill the ice-blue flames. His head was covered with bloodshot threads, his eyes were filled with bloodthirsty light, and his face was filled with murderous intent. Swish! The war spear tore through the void and arrived in front of Hong Qinya in the blink of an eye. A ball of earth-yellow flame rose up, with an indestructible meaning, like a shield made of divine gold, blocking the terrifying spear. When? Okay, Shi Tianjue looked surprised. Sizzle. There was a thunderous blast, and several thunder dragons roared towards him. He took a closer look and found that it turned out to be flames in the shape of thunder and lightning. Rumble. In the billowing smoke, Shi Tianjue struggled to break free, with some scars burned by thunder and fire on his body, staring at that magnificent figure in red, his eyes were filled with deep shock. Where did you learn this spell from? Shi Tianjue found it difficult to accept being beaten by Hong Qianye. With his level of advantage, he still can't take advantage. You guess. The corners of Hong Qianye's mouth curved with pride. Really? He is very strong now. With the blessing of the 3000 Flame Sutra, coupled with the unpredictable fire magical power, he is as powerful as the blood demon who was so powerful in the central region, and now he is suppressing him. I, Hong Qianye, will embark on the road to invincibility from now on. Shi Tianjue was silent for a long time, then suddenly let out a chilling laugh. If I guess correctly, during the time you left the central territory, you gained a great fortune. If you continue and become an immortal again in the future, I'm afraid none of the old guys in the past will be your match. It's a pity, it's a pity. Hong Qianye frowned. What's the pity? It's a pity that you will die at my hands soon. Shi Tianjue laughed, the voice just fell, a strange attraction burst out from his body. I am. The one-eyed elder showed pain on his face, and his body melted at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then turned into wisps of blood and disappeared into Shi Tianjue's body. At the same time, people all over the country were screaming, turning into balls of blood containing cultivation energy and rushing across the sky. This horrific phenomenon occurs not only in Wei State, but also in dozens of surrounding countries. Help! Who will save me? Wow, I don't want to die. This is God's anger. Our retribution has come. That a large amount of blood was pulled by the strange force, traveling through the void and falling on Shi Tianjue. The billowing blood-colored evil energy emerged around him, like smoke rising up, which was very visually shocking. Shi Tianjue's realm reached perfection from the peak of transformation, and then began to attack the realm of integration. Click. Bottleneck breakthrough. An aura that was 100 times more powerful than the transformation god spread in all directions instantly. Shi Tianjue's realm has reached the early stage of integration. Above the vast sky, there was a blood-red giant with bloody hair and monstrous aura standing there, his eyes shining with terrifying coldness, and a blood-colored halo hanging behind his head, like a blood-red sun, bringing endless despair to the people. Oh my God, what kind of monster is this? Emperor Wei and the others knelt on the ground, looking at the giant in horror, feeling the destructive energy contained in that huge body. Hong Qianye's expression changed and she said solemnly, "Has your immortal blood body been recast successfully?" Shi Tianjue stared at this tiny figure, and his voice echoed in all directions like a bell. The immortal blood body is one of the top treasure bodies. How can it be so easy to successfully recast it? But through my efforts, % has been restored. When I devour the entire living beings in the wilderness, I believe that the immortal blood body will be able to reach its full body, that the immortal blood body is Shi Tianjue's greatest support. Back then, relying on this treasure body to fight against two strong men, good and evil, not only could he burst out with the power to destroy the world and destroy the earth with just a raise of his hand, but he also had an extremely exaggerated self-healing ability. The battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, it was the old monsters from the Holy Land who used the combined power of immortal weapons to completely destroy this immortal blood body. Hong Qianye, I gave you a chance, and you are entirely to blame for where you are today. Kill. When this syllable came out of Shi Tianjue's mouth, it seemed as if the whole world was about to collapse. The huge bloody palm smacked down, covering Hong Qianye like a 5-fingered mountain. Boom. The terrifying sense of oppression is vast and boundless, making people feel like surrendering. Not good. Hong Qianye couldn't avoid it. The magic power in her body boiled and stirred, and her whole body released purple flames that soared into the sky. The blazing purple flames are extremely strange, and the power they contain is so terrifying that they can evaporate an entire ocean in an instant. Suddenly, a devastating collision broke out between the two sides, and the terrifying energy flow raged crazily. The sky of Wei State was shattered, as if the end was coming. Countless people looked at it in shock, trembling with fear. Hong Qianye gritted his teeth and used all his strength, one after another with fire attribute magical powers. The bloody giant was trapped in the sea of fire, and his body was covered with burning scars. It's useless, don't resist needlessly. An indifferent and cold voice came out, a strange phenomenon occurred, countless scars were healing rapidly, and the bloody giant looked brand new, unscathed. Die! The bloody giant shouted violently and charged up his fists. The huge fist was wrapped in runes, like a meteorite falling from the sky, dragging blood-red light. In an instant, Hong Qianye was shrouded in murderous intent and felt cold all over her body. Without thinking much, with his long hair fluttering, he made a hand gesture with his hands, and a golden flame condensed around his body. From a distance, it looks like the sun stretching across the sky, emitting a radiance that is impervious to all evil. Boom! A strong squeezing force struck instantly. The fist hit the golden flame mask, causing the surrounding void to twist and form an indescribable vortex. Clack clack, cracks appeared on the surface of the golden flame mask. Huh, let me break it, Shi Qinjue sneered, and his bloody fist burst out with even more terrifying force. Bang! The photomask is broken. Hong Qianye was knocked out of the sky by a punch and fell straight to the ground. There was a rumble and smoke and dust filled the sky. This. In the eyes of Emperor Wei and others, the scene just now was very shocking, like a sun hanging in the sky being knocked down with one punch. Terrible. Is this a fight between gods? Cough cough. Blood flowed from the corner of Hong Qianye's mouth, and he stood up from the pit with disheveled hair. With a grey face, he looked up at the giant figure in the sky, and felt a deep sense of powerlessness in his heart. You are no match for me after all. Shi Qinjue looked down at the tiny red Qianye on the ground with a stern look, as if he was looking at an ant that was about to be trampled to death. In the fusion realm, he is 100 times stronger than before. With the help of this immortal blood body, Shi Qinjue is confident that he is almost invincible in the same realm. What's more, dealing with a monk in the realm of spirit transformation. Blood demon, you biting mad dog. Hong Qianye spat out bloody spit and said angrily. Back then, he had gone through so much trouble to evade pursuit and ran all the way from the central region to this wild land. Unexpectedly, he ended up falling into the hands of an old acquaintance. We monks pursue immortality. Since you are not willing to accompany me alive, then merge into my body after death and let me carry your will to complete this long journey to immortality. The majestic voice was like a bell, echoing constantly in the sky above the head. The bloody giant raised his palm again, and the palm flashed with fierce blood, burning with terrifying arrogance. Then, the palm shattered the void and shot straight down. Boom! Feeling the storm-like pressure covering his whole body, Hong Qianye's hair stood up all over his body. Perhaps out of the instinct of survival, or grasping the life-saving straw, he shouted those words without thinking. Master, save me. Chapter 18. Show off your power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In an instant, the bloody palm suddenly stopped in mid-air. A look of surprise appeared in Shi Qinjue's eyes. Master. Whose disciple are you joining? In his opinion, the person who could make the once arrogant Hong Qianye willingly worship her must be a great person who transcends the world. Combined with the magical power exerted by Hong Qianye, this made Shi Qinjue even more afraid of the master who taught the skills behind him. If it really has a strong background, Shi Qinjue will have to weigh it carefully. My good disciple, I finally thought of becoming a master. Yi Junlin threw away the melon seeds in his hand and ducked in front of Hong Qianye. His master is me. Okay. Shi Qinjue's eyes showed confusion. Are you his master? That he could see that Yi Junlin was just a mere god. This kind of state could only be found in the vast central territory. It was nothing special. Hong Qianye, I didn't expect you to have fallen to such an extent that you actually became a disciple of a god transformation monk. What a shame, Shi Qinjue sneered. Hong Qianye's face was so red that he was bleeding, and he didn't know why he shouted those words just now. At the same time, Hong Qianye also felt a little guilty. Although she hated Yi Junlin for always asking him to do work, he was his savior after all. Now that he stood up to face Shi Qinjue, he was afraid that he would suffer. Can I understand that you are looking down on me? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. You ants don't know how high the sky is today. In its heyday, I could drown you with my spit. Shi Qinjue sneered. Having become an immortal, he has a kind of arrogance in his heart, and he has a kind of contempt for all existences below immortals. The reason why he was able to talk to Hong Qianye was because the other person and he were once at the same level, and they felt a sense of sympathy for each other. As for the others, Shi Qinjue didn't pay attention at all. Hong Qianye said anxiously, "Leave me alone, get out of here quickly." Yi Junlin pointed at the bloody figure in the sky and said in an understatement, "What are you afraid of? Let's see how I can kill him for you." These words stunned Hong Qianye. Insanity. Shi Qinjue laughed in anger, raised his huge palm and slapped it away hard. The wind and clouds changed color, and the void collapsed. The terrifying pressure was suffocating. "It's over." Hong Chiba looked desperate. Ding, it is detected that the host encounters an attack from an enemy in the early stage of the fusion realm. Now it triggers the passive effect of becoming stronger when encountering strong ones, and gains the cultivation level in the middle stage of the fusion realm. The sweet system loli sound came from my mind. Yi Junlin smiled crookedly, and released extremely powerful cultivation fluctuations from his body, which was the energy aura belonging to the middle stage of the fusion realm. Rumbling, the explosion was earth-shattering and deafening. What happened? Shi Qianjue's eyes flashed with shock. His body fell back several feet as if struck by lightning, and he looked at the almost broken bloody palm in disbelief. Just now, an extremely domineering force came through, trying to crush the entire arm of his immortal blood body. "You are not a god. You are a monk in the fusion realm." Shi Qianjue was surprised. "What?" The most shocked person was Hong Qianye. He really didn't expect that this silver-haired young man was so hidden. On the surface, he pretended to be a monk who transformed into gods, but behind his back he was a powerful figure in the fusion realm. This bastard, no wonder he always provoked me before. It turned out that he had the fusion realm cultivation to rely on. Fortunately, I didn't really fall out with him at that time. Hong Qianye secretly rejoiced, at this time. In the eyes of everyone who was shocked, the figure of the young man in black robe is like a comet shooting high into the sky. His silver-white hair is flowing and shining, his face is plump and handsome, and his every move has an aura that will destroy the world. Is this what it feels like to break through the fusion realm? It is indeed much more powerful than the transformation god. Yi Junlin felt that his whole body was so clear and he was so happy. So what about the fusion realm? I will let you, a native, see what real power is. Shi Qianjue shouted angrily. Immediately, he united his mind and spirit and controlled his immortal blood body to launch a fierce offensive against Yi Junlin. The bloody fist that filled the sky cut through the sky like a rain of meteorites. Human King Seal, that the clear voice echoed between heaven and earth. Boom, behind Yi Junlin, a vast shadow appeared that dominated the world, like an ancient god king standing in the 9 heavens. This mark with the vicissitudes of ancient times was struck, and the surging mana was like the overwhelming roar of a flood. Boom boom. The bloody giant was beaten until blood splattered everywhere, both arms were torn apart by the mark, and the blood evaporated. This, Shi Qianjue was stunned. That kind of domineering feeling made even him, a giant of the demonic world, unable to help but tremble at it. Yi Junlin sneered, the human king seal has reached the Deshang level after practicing online. Its power is not comparable to that of the entry level. But even so, when he hit the human king seal with all his strength, he was still unable to directly kill Shi Qianjue, which shows the power of the immortal blood body. Zilala. Next second, the bloody giant who originally lost his hands had blood and flesh extending again from the severed limbs, and his 2 arms quickly returned to their original state. Shi Qianjue roared, "Did you see it? You can't kill me." "What about this trick?" Yi Junlin's voice was calm and gentle, and he slowly raised his hand with a deafening voice, "The great desolate prisoner of heaven's finger." It is worth mentioning that the proficiency of this magical power has reached the perfection level. Deep in the sky, a huge energy vortex appeared, releasing an aura of despair that made people surrender. 1 finger confines the world. 2 fingers break mountains and rivers. 3 fingers to destroy life. 4 fingers break the sky. In an instant, 4 giant golden fingers, like pillars reaching the sky, pressed forward with mighty power. Damn, what is this? Shi Qianjue's expression changed drastically, and he looked at the 4 giant fingers with shocked eyes. he did not dare to neglect, mobilized all the strength of his body, raised his hand to control a winding river of blood to attack forcefully, boom. The sea of blood boiled and roared, and was strangled by the fingers of the great desolate prisoner, then, 4 fingers directly hit the bloody giant. Bang! The dash, foot body of the bloody giant was almost beaten to pieces, and Shi Tianjue was exposed in the body. At this time, his hair was disheveled, blood was dripping from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were full of unforgettable fear, and he said in horror, "Who are you?" Shi Tianjue never expected that he would encounter such a terrifying monster as Yi Junlin in this small desert state. Even the immortal blood body that he was so proud of was almost destroyed in an instant. What a joke. Could it be that I haven't walked around outside for a long time, and the genius outside is already so powerful? Hong Qianye's eyes widened in shock, and the shock in her heart could not be described in words. No wonder the other party was so confident. It turned out that he didn't take him seriously at all. If he turned against him directly, he would be easily suppressed. Thinking of this, Hong Qianye became more and more scared. It seems that his intuition is still very accurate. At least you have to be obedient now. I am Yi Junlin, the master of Shentian sect in Piaomiao Peak. Yi Junlin flicked his fingers, as if what he just did was an insignificant thing. Shi Tianjue felt even more depressed inside. When he hid in Huangzhou, he had learned about the local sects, and naturally knew that Shentian sect was among them, but those are all small sects. How could such a being be in charge? This is completely unreasonable. Yi Junlin, I remember you. At this point, Shi Tianjue had no choice but to admit defeat. This was the biggest humiliation in his life. Blood escaped Dafa. Swish, in an instant, the blood all over Shi Tianjue's body was burning, turning into a shocking blood light and crossing the void. No, he wants to escape. Hong Qianye's face changed drastically. He understands Shi Tianjue's personality, and with the character of Shi Tianjue who is determined to retaliate, he will be a greater threat if he comes back in the future. Humph, you want to run away? You're just wishful thinking. At the same time, Yi Junlin used the Great Void technique and quickly blocked Shi Tianjue's path. You! Shi Tianjue was startled. This was the secret escape method he relied on to survive. How could he be caught up so quickly? Die! Yi Junlin's tone was cold, and he raised his hand to strike. Do not! Shi Tianjue let out a shrill scream. If he really fell this time, there would be no possibility of resurrection. His heart was filled with extreme unwillingness and resentment. Bang! The whole person exploded in the air, and the soul was extinguished. The blood demon who was once so powerful in the central territory is now wiped out. Shi Tianjue, he died like this. Hong Qianye murmured. After all, he was a true immortal-level powerhouse of the same generation, and now his rise was cut off by Yi Junlin himself. This made Hong Qianye, who witnessed it with his own eyes, sigh. Great! The devil has been eliminated by the immortal. Emperor Wei burst into tears. Wave after wave of cheers sounded. Everyone knelt on the ground and worshipped the silver-haired young man. Yi Junlin suddenly thought of something and said angrily, Tongzi, where is my reward? Be conscious and don't let me remind you, that this system even claims to be professional. Even the rewards were not distributed in time. Ding, come on, let's give out rewards to the handsome host. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting. Chapter 19 Mission Reward, Supreme Bone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Supreme Bone. Do you want to bind it now? Supreme Bone, a mysterious bone with runes, which can bring the owner top-notch talent and physique, and he will be destined to be the unparalleled supreme in the future. Yi Junlin looked overjoyed and immediately said silently, bind. In an instant, his chest emitted a blazing light, and an astonishing terrifying aura burst out. The rays of light complement each other, and they are as fierce as the blazing sun. In Yi Junlin's chest, there was a crystal-clear Taoist bone covered with countless mysterious lines, which contained extremely mysterious energy, Supreme Bone. The combat power of those who possess it will greatly increase. Yi Junlin was very satisfied with this. after all, when he fought against the blood demon Shi, he saw the power of the opponent's immortal blood body. This is still a somewhat incomplete treasure body, which shows how important the increase brought by physical fitness is. In this world, there are people outside the world, and there must be some monsters with more terrifying physiques than Shi. Junlin believes that since he has obtained the supreme bone, he will be more confident of crushing them if he faces them in the future. What happened? Feeling the fluctuations coming from Junlin's body, Qingye couldn't help but feel palpitations. Such a powerful aura, what did this guy do? After witnessing the opponent's invincible posture just now, Qingye's danger assessment of Junlin rose to a new level, and the more this happened, the more he thought that Junlin had a great opportunity. Otherwise, how could such a talented monster be born in this barren and wild land? Damn it, I'm still not strong enough. I have to work harder to practice. When I break through to the fusion realm, I will be able to control him. Qingye gritted his teeth and said, swish. Junlin slowly descended, his long silver-white hair dancing wildly, and a faint smile on his lips. Emperor Wei even regarded it as if he were a god descending to earth, worshipped and shouted, "Thank you to the immortal for saving the people of Wei. The state of Wei, will definitely record this matter in the annals of history so that future generations can remember the kindness of the immortal." That he was completely impressed by the scene of the gods fighting, and had a deep sense of awe for Junlin. Junlin waved his hand, "Don't say these useless things. Being a good emperor is better than anything else. Treat your people well." Emperor Wei was shocked and said solemnly, "Young man, please remember the teachings of the immortal. Exalted immortal, can I join the Shentian sect in the future?" The little princess said timidly, her voice soft and clear, like the first cry of a baby bird. "Linger, don't be rude." Emperor Wei turned around and glared, scolding, "Do you really think that people can enter the immortal sect whenever they want? Then you have to have this life." The little princess quickly lowered her head, her eyes full of panic. Junlin smiled and secretly opened his eyes of insight. Name, Xiaolinger. Gender, female. Repair, none. Talent, the ultimate water spiritual root. Identity, Princess of Wei. He does have good immortality. When Junlin saw Xiaolinger carrying a top-quality water spiritual root, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Spiritual roots are divided into waste products, ordinary products, low products, medium products, top products, immortal products, and holy products, and Xiaolinger has the best water spiritual root, and her talent can be said to be extremely superior. Exalted, immortal, do you mean that my Linger is also qualified to join the immortal sect? Emperor Wei asked tentatively. Well, if she has this wish, I can take her away by the way. Junlin said seriously. He thought about it and decided that it would be appropriate to throw it to the master of Qianxiang Peak. Linger. Why don't you thank the immortal quickly? Emperor Wei looked excited and felt like crying. The Zhao royal family has 2 practitioners. Perhaps this is a gift from God. Linger thanks the immortal. Xiaolinger was very happy, her face flushed. Junlin nodded. Exalted immortal, you have saved the state of Wei. I would like to ask Xiao Xiao to express my feelings and host a banquet for you on behalf of the people of the state of Wei. Casual. Later, Junlin was not in a hurry to leave, and chose to stay in the palace for a while, enjoying top-notch royal treatment. Mountains covered with clouds and mist. Qingye exhaled a breath of turbid air, her eyes burst out with red light that split the sky, and there were streaks of flame surrounding her body, which looked extremely magical. Finally, my injury has recovered. By the way, even the realm. The man in red robe stood up, his black hair fell down like a waterfall around his waist, his skin was white and shining, and the scarlet flame mark between his eyebrows was breathtaking. After the previous fight and some of her own insights, Qingye's cultivation level has broken through again, and she is now at the peak of becoming a god. This kind of speed, if placed in the ancient holy land of immortal cultivation, would cause an extremely pity, when she saw Junlin's unfathomable methods. Qingye's original relaxed mood suddenly disappeared. He still has a long way to go before catching up with his opponent. If you bear with me any longer, when I break through to the fusion realm, I will repay you twice as much for the humiliation I suffered. Hong Qianye said secretly, in his mind. The scene of the silver-haired young man with a terrified face begging for mercy appeared in his mind, and he couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth with a playful arc. Just thinking about it makes me look forward to it. Xiaohong, come and see me as a master. At this time, a familiar voice sounded in my ears. Hong Qianye snorted coldly in her heart. Have I given you face? Then, the figure disappeared from the spot and reappeared in front of the palace gate. He smiled, bowed his hands and said, Master. In the main hall, Yi Junlin was lying on his side in a carefree manner, with one hand supporting his head and the other holding a book written by a literati from the Wei dynasty. He tasted it leisurely and said, This martial arts novel is quite interesting. It seems that the people here also like the plot of slap in the face and pretending to be cool. If I travel to this country, I guess I can make money by writing novels. Well, I will start with a book of Ma Petsang Qian. I will definitely be able to make money. Popular all over the country, the author's name is, Crazy Potato. Heard, Hong Qianye looked weird. What nonsense is this guy talking about? Yo, you're here. Yi Junlin sat up straight, waved his hand, and there was a wooden basin in front of him. The hot water in the wooden basin was steaming. He stepped lightly on the wooden basin with his feet and ordered Hong Qianye in a commanding tone. Why are you standing there? Why don't you start quickly? You. Hong Qianye gritted her teeth, anger welling up in her heart. He wanted to show off his face, but his strength didn't allow it. Even people as strong as the blood demon were killed by this person, which shows how cruel he is. Think about it. Hong Qianye finally chose to compromise. He took hard steps and slowly came to Yi Junlin. Kneel down and wash. Yi Junlin's tone left no room for doubt. Hong Qianye's heart trembled, and the angry and helpless shame crawled all over her body like insects. I am the leader of the demon cult, and I have even aspired to become a true immortal. More than tens of millions of practitioners have died in my hands. Now, you actually asked me to kneel down and wash your feet. You actually. Hong Qianye gritted her teeth tightly, and unyielding arrogance emerged from her heart. Just when he opened his mouth to argue, his eyes came into contact with Yi Junlin's indifferent gaze. Boom. The red leaves are like falling into an ice cellar. In a daze, he seemed to be facing an unparalleled supreme being who dominated the world. Why are you standing there stupidly? Come on, Yi Junlin urged impatiently. I wash. Hong Qianye's psychological defense was broken, and she slowly knelt down on the ground. With trembling hands, she went deep into the wooden basin to wash the feet of the young man in front of her. Good disciple. Yi Junlin nodded. Sample, fighting with labor and management. In front of the noble Chinese traveler, even if the dragon comes, he must be coiled obediently. Wait, this water is. Hong Qianye noticed something was wrong. Her breathing gradually became faster, and her heart seemed to be turbulent. Damn it. This is Tai infinite water. A mortal who drinks it can keep his appearance forever and live for 200 years. If a practitioner drinks it, it can wash away impurities in the body, leaving the body spotless and flawless, and his cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. Even if it was a small bottle, it would be snapped up in a place like the Central Territory. It was something that many monks could only come across. As a result, this thing was actually used for foot soaking. Hong Qianye became more and more convinced that Yi Junlin must have had some kind of opportunity to obtain a huge amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Otherwise, how could he be so extravagant? Looking at the large basin full of Tai boundless water, he felt a little dizzy. Hong Qianye's throat secretly made a swallowing motion. If he drinks it all, it will be of great benefit to him. And many more. This is foot-washing water. Realizing this, Hong Qianye woke up suddenly, feeling sick to her stomach at what she had just thought. Yuck. Chapter 20 Strange Posture. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The corner of Yi Junlin's mouth twitched a few times. What's your expression? Do you think you have stinky feet? Hong Qianye was a little embarrassed. No. Then, he endured the discomfort and washed Yi Junlin's feet, feeling a strong sense of absurdity in his heart. Who would have thought that the leader of the fire-worshipping demon sect, who had fought his way out of the siege of the major forces in the central region, would now be obediently rubbing people's feet? Sin. Yi Junlin narrowed his eyes slightly, with a contented look on his face. This is the Tai boundless water rewarded by the system for signing in. Because there is too much, I just use it to soak my feet when I have nothing to do. Not to mention, it is quite comfortable to cooperate with this cheap apprentice's method. The water is a bit cold, please heat it up. Oh. Hong Qianye said angrily, his hands placed in the water released heat energy, and the Tai boundless water in the wooden basin suddenly became boiling hot. Ah. It's cool. Yi Junlin's pores all over his body relaxed, he raised his head in extreme comfort and groaned. Hearing this weird cry, Hong Qianye felt ashamed for this person. She rolled her eyes and secretly cursed, why am I so unhappy with you? At this moment, a petite figure wearing a gorgeous skirt ran to the door excitedly. Zhao Ling'er was very happy because under Yi Junlin's guidance during this period, she finally felt the flow of true energy in her body and initially entered the state of qi training. Zhao Ling'er, who has an innocent personality, can't wait to convey this news to the supreme immortal of Xiantian sect, hoping to hear his praise. Sudden. Zhao Ling'er's footsteps paused, her beautiful eyes were full of disbelief. And her petite lips formed an O shape. Oh my God, what is this going on? From Zhao Ling'er's perspective, Hong Qianye's back was very eye-catching. She was kneeling in front of Yi Junlin with her head lowered and looking very hard, but Yi Junlin looked like he was enjoying it. This picture makes it hard not to think about it. Zhao Ling'er immediately thought of something, and her pretty face turned red as if on fire. She didn't expect that the master and disciple had such a relationship behind their backs. Ashamed to death. Zhao Ling'er covered her face and ran away. This scene had a huge impact on her young heart. I think it will still be vivid in my mind even after many years. Ling'er, why are you running away? Yi Junlin was very depressed. With his cultivation level, he was naturally aware of Zhao Ling'er, but he was immersed in the service of the leader of the demon cult, so he didn't bother to pay more attention. At this time, Yi Junlin lowered his head and carefully looked at the face of this great disciple. The skin can be broken by blowing, the slender and gentle willow eyebrows, the beautiful and standard red phoenix eyes, the high nose, and the bright red lips. The combination of the facial features is extremely delicate. The whole face is so beautiful that it is unreal, and the vermilion flame on the eyebrows, the imprint adds a touch of charming charm. With this look, do you dare to believe that this is a man? Yi Junlin sighed. Xiaohong, why do you think you are a leader? I feel sorry for you as a teacher. Hong Qianye is very angry. Scholars can be killed but cannot be humiliated. I have already rubbed your feet obediently. Do you still want me to lose my life? However, due to the opponent's strength, he had no choice but to break his teeth and swallow it in his stomach. He lowered his head silently and rubbed the feet of the young man in front of him. He said to himself, what a piece of shit, I will scare you to death if I take it out. After half an hour, Yi Junlin felt the sound transmission ring in his arms vibrating. Huh. It's the sect master who has sent the news. He took out his sound transmission ring, and from the ring came Su Yonyan's excited and anxious voice. Junior brother Yi, quickly return to the sect to discuss countermeasures. Something big has happened in Huangzhou recently. It is suspected that an ancient secret realm is about to be opened. If Xiantian sect can, if you reap the benefits from it, you will definitely prosper. Ancient secret realm? Yi Junlin was a little surprised. Hong Qianye was even more shocked. Even with his vision, he dare not underestimate this ancient secret realm. It is a treasure land that can breed many cultivation resources, which is enough for grassroots monks to change their destiny and jump over the dragon gate to embark on the path to immortality. To put it bluntly, this should be called the immortal secret realm. If he can seize a good opportunity from it and cooperate with the horror of the 3000 Flames Sutra, his cultivation will definitely break through faster. I didn't expect that this barren state would also have such a good place. This is good news for the monks in the barren state. Yi Junlin said with emotion. Hong Qianye sneered inwardly. judging from his experience, the news of the emergence of this secret realm must not be hidden. I am afraid that the forces from all the major states in the eastern region will come to take a share of the pie. How can this poor and weak barren state stop the menacing foreign monks? At that time, the local monks can only stare blankly. In this world, strength is respected, wolves travel thousands of miles to eat meat, but what about dogs? Just worthy of following behind and eating shit. Ding, a new sign-in task has been released. If the host completes the sign-in in Luo Tian's secret realm, he will receive a very surprising reward. A system notification sounded in Yi Junlin's mind. Huh. What will it be this time? Ding, I won't tell you. Naughty. Yi Junlin pouted. Since there was a sign-in mission, he would take a look at the Luo Tian secret realm, hoping to get some novel rewards. Later, after finishing soaking his feet, Yi Junlin called Zhao Linger and prepared to leave Wei. Say goodbye to your father. He may rarely come back in the future. In the palace, Yi Junlin whispered to the little girl. Zhao Linger looked at her father, who had gray hair on his temples and was a bit old. He couldn't help but feel a pinch in his heart. She recalled the childhood scene of riding on her father's neck when she was a child. At that time, her father was far less old than he is now. Father, Linger should stay with you. Zhao Linger said in a trembling voice. Bullshit. Emperor Wei was so angry that he puffed his beard and glared. It's not like I'm going to die, your father. Besides, if you become a member of the Xiantian sect, that would be a great thing. It's something that many people only dream of. You have to cherish this opportunity. Don't delay your own future. Oh, after saying this, Zhao Linger had no choice but to nod. Emperor Wei raised his hands to Yi Junlin and said hopefully, Sir, I will keep your teachings in mind, be considerate of the people, and be a good emperor. I hope the Shangxian will take good care of my little girl. Yi Junlin waved his hand. Everyone has their own destiny. She will not be wronged if she joins Xiantian's sect, but how far she can go depends on herself. That's what the immortal said. In this way, Zhao Linger stepped on the clouds and mist where Yi Junlin cast his spell. As the clouds and mist slowly rose, she waved goodbye with red eyes. Father, my daughter will come back to see you when she has time. Emperor Wei showed a happy smile, then his face became solemn, and he led his ministers to kneel on the ground and shouted, I send you to the immortal. Congratulations to the immortal. The shouts were like rolling waves, echoing in the sky above the palace. Seeing Wei Guo getting further and further away from her, Zhao Linger wiped away her tears and carefully looked at the master and disciple, especially when he glanced at Hong Qianya. Zhao Linger sighed with her beautiful face and cold temperament. Sister Hong is so beautiful, but she doesn't like to talk. Suddenly, she thought of the scene she had encountered at that time. 2 blushes appeared on her pretty face, and she lowered her head silently. Hong Qianya noticed something strange about the girl, and her eyes showed a trace of confusion, but she didn't bother to ask more questions. It's so bizarre. Qingzhou, Feathergate, Venerable Juyang put his hands behind his back, and his whole body was filled with hazy golden mist. His majestic voice came out in a low voice. According to the report from the spies, the Fenglei sect where your father is located has been destroyed. It was the master of Xiantian sect's Piaomiao Peak. Boom! The young man with a handsome face, wearing a robe with a sun pattern, immediately fell into a rage. The veins on his forehead protruded, his eyes shot out murderous intent, and his whole body released a terrifying power. The thing he was most worried about happened. His father was already dead. Chen Shao gritted his teeth and said bitterly, What state is this person in? Venerable Juyang said, according to outside rumors, he is the newly promoted Nascent Soul monk in Huangzhou. Yuaning. Chen Shao was extremely angry and laughed, I kill Nascent Soul, just like killing a chicken.